Get rich wholesaling the probate list. Guys, this is Rick Ginn, and I love to do probates, and I'm going to show you why probates is one of the best niche lists to go after for wholesaling. And even if you're brand new, I'm going to show you why this is the best track to get the highest success in wholesaling. But before I get into it, do me a favor, make sure you smash that like button. You hit that subscribe button to receive the absolute best up-to-date information on wholesaling today. So probates is a real simple process, and let me explain it to you. So when somebody passes away, they have the legal process called probate. And the purpose is to wrap up the financial affairs for the deceased person. Now, obviously, when someone's passed away, they cannot transfer title legally because you have to be a live person to sign for it. So what the courts did is they created what the process called probate, and that is the legal clearing of the deceased's assets. And simply what happens is most people have a will when they pass away, and they declare a person to be responsible for wrapping up their final wishes and their final affairs. Obviously, they're going to pick the most trustworthy person within their family, and they are called the personal representative, also known as the PR, and in some states, the executor. Here's the key that you have to understand is once that person is appointed the PR, the personal representative or the executor, they have the same legal authority as the deceased person to transfer title on that property. They can keep it, they can sell it, they can refinance it. They have all the powers. So I simply teach you how to connect with the personal representative, the PR, because they're the ones that hold the keys to selling you a great probate deal. So let's talk about why probates are so great for wholesaling specifically. Number one, I didn't even start probates, specifically wholesaling, until about 7 years in my career, because honestly, I found by accident my most profitable deals always had a probate element to it. The reason I didn't do them is number one, I didn't understand them. Number two, they freaked me out. I felt like I was an ambulance chaser, and my ego got in the way. And for the longest time, I gave up a lot of money. Well, I decided to learn probates. How did I learn probates? I just immersed myself in them. I went down to the probate court. I asked a million questions. I probably went 15, 20 separate times, and I eventually got all my answers. I understood how the process worked. I understood how to find the PR, and I understood how to extract the information from the court dockets so I could attack the probate niche list for wholesaling. Now, here's the really cool part. Why are probates so wonderful for wholesaling, especially as a newbie? Let's think about this. Number one, most probates are vacant for obvious reasons. Someone's passed away. Number two, a lot of the personal representatives, the people that transact on these probates, is they're out-of-town owners, meaning a lot of times they're in another state. So like me being in the state of Florida, there's a ton of people that own property outside. So if grandma passed away, it's common for the mom to come down and settle the final affairs. Number three, one of my other favorites is most of these properties need work, meaning they're not going to pass traditional financing. They're not really good MLS candidates. And honestly, because probate's so personable and so private, it's perfect for wholesaling because a lot of people don't want it to be public. They don't want to be judged, have people walk through their house. Most of the houses will not live up to the inspection process, and most of them won't qualify for financing. That doesn't mean every one of them, but this is why probates are so perfect for wholesaling. And the last beautiful thing, is specifically why they're really good for newbie wholesalers, is you get a lot more time with them. So the probate process does take some time. We're going to talk about that in the second part of this video. But the reality is it can take anywhere from 60 to 180 days to actually get the clearance from the court to transact and sell on the property. Now, I'm like, oh my God, that sounds terrible. Honestly, it puts you in a huge competitive advantage because most wholesalers wait till the probate's complete. I promise I'll explain how that's going to benefit you because I'm going to show you a way around it. Number two, it gives you a lot of time to find a cash buyer to take over your contract via assignment of contract. And yes, you can assign a probate. That's why it's perfect for wholesaling. So think about this. You get a property that nobody else has access to it. It's not on market because you went down to the courthouse and pulled it. I'll show you how to do it. And then you reached out, you talked to the seller, to the PR, and they decided to cut you a deal on the property because it was vacant and needs a lot of work. And honestly, they don't want to keep paying all the mortgages, the insurance, the utilities on the property and maintain it. Honestly, they just want to get rid of it. So they're going to give you a good deal and you lock it down. Now, while you're waiting for the court process, a particular document to be filed, you can have anywhere from 30 to 120 days to find a cash buyer for that property. And the reality is, if you're new to wholesaling and you're a newbie, just like I was when I started, you don't have a great cash buyers list. You don't really know how to do the process. And most of the time when you put a property under contract in wholesaling, you're under extreme duress to find a cash buyer as fast as possible. The luxury of probates as a newbie is you're not under that major duress, and it's really easy to show the property. Most of them we have on a lockbox, and we will rock 15 or 20 cash buyers to show their position under contract to see if they want to take over an assignment of contract. You see, if I have more time to sell it, it's less stressful for you, the wholesaler, especially the newbie. Number two, you can usually get a higher price because you have more time to shop it around. And because you're getting such a great deal, because it's a probate, because it's vacant, has deferred maintenance, is you're getting the lowest price up front and you're getting the maximum price on the back end, and you have the luxury of time, which is phenomenal. And a lot of times you can leverage when you want to close on it based on the probate and where it is in the process. Guys, probates are absolutely wonderful wholesaling, one of my favorite ones. Here's the downside to it. There's only so many probates that come out, and they're issued in a per county basis. So there's over 3,200 counties. So you're probably not going to live on probates alone. But here's the real sexy part of it. Your average probate deal is 3 times the profitability of your average assignment contract, where you normally contract a motivated teller. Why? Because you're getting these at deeper prices, you're solving much bigger problems, and you have a heck of a lot more time to find the highest and best cash buyer for it. And for those reasons alone is why you have to attack probates, especially if you're brand new to it. So how do we get the probate list? It's real simple. You can go down your courthouse and pull the probate docket. You're looking for the freshest last 30 days of probate. The sooner you get the probate, the better chance you have. And on that probate docket, you're going to have to figure out who the PR is on it. And you also have to cross-reference the property to see if the deceased owned property in that county that you're looking at. Once they own property in that county and you find who the PR is, you're simply going to skip trace and find the contact information, mailing address, and phone number. We're going to send them a letter. If you go over to freewholesaling.com, we give you the free probate template letter to go along with it. And then obviously get their phone number, reach out and call them. You can skip trace them through dmzack.com. And guys, it's really that simple. Now, some of you can get access to this information online. Some of you are actually going to have to go down there and get it. Remember, you're going to get some resistance when getting this list. To overcome resistance, you must be persistent. And if you understand that you get more flies with honey instead of beating them over the head, understanding you're going to have to work, use your charm, and use your rapport building skills to get this information, especially if you have to go in person. Honestly, if you go in person, you're going to have better luck than doing it over the phone or email, but it's up to you depending if you're doing this virtually or locally. So I already gave you my secret marketing list. I like to basically call them. I don't like calling it cold calling. I call it warm calling, because you have to learn to be a really good listener. And it's going to take 5 to 6 touches before you even get the price on probate. If you want to learn more how to do that, go over to freewholesaling.com. But basically, we're going to do warm calls and we're going to send them a form letter, not a postcard. So when it comes to contacting the seller, the more authentic and the better the listener you can become, you will do much better than the average real estate agent or the average wholesaler, because wholesalers are so quickly trying to run over clients to get a contract. And you have to do the opposite in probates. You have to be patient and you have to be an extremely good listener. The 80-20 rule applies here. 80% listening, 20% talking. And if you can let the person in probate get past that awkward phase of, hey, I'm talking to a stranger, to letting them tell you their emotional story, if you're empathetic about it and you help them, you will make a ton of money in probates. Honestly, really good listeners, patient people. If you are empathetic, you will do very well in wholesaling. If you try to run people over and you're very aggressive, don't do probates. It's not going to work. Honestly, probates are my highest, most profitable method in wholesaling. And honestly, you're doing yourself a disservice if you're not marketing to probates, because these are the most profitable, honestly, the easiest deals you can do. They don't cost a lot of money because you do all the marketing within your home and your office. And when you get these deals, they're so easy to wholesale because they're vacant. You get a lot more time, and it's so much easier. Now, if you work with me through Flip with Rick, I actually show you how to have a competitive advantage. I show you how to buy the properties before the probate's complete. If you want to learn more how to do this, go over to freewholesaling.com. I've documented this process. I've done it over 250 times. And most lawyers will tell you, you have to wait till the probate's complete. That's just hogwash. It's not true, because I have over 250 cases where I've actually proven it. So you can actually file for a motion to have the property liquidated because it is causing duress on the estate of John Doe, whoever it is. And since real estate's usually the biggest asset in probate, remember, probate deals with bank accounts, cars, boats, and obviously real estate. They've made an exception to liquidate the real estate. The money goes into the estate's account, but the thing is, the seller gets certainty, the PR, and they put that property to rest and they don't have to worry about it anymore. Guys, if you're not wholesaling probates, you are absolutely missing the boat. Don't make the mistake like I did and wait 7 years to get started in it. Get started now. It's not that hard. Go over to freewholesaling.com. We'll show you how to get started. And guys, if you got value from this video, do me a favor. Make sure you smash that like button. Hit that subscribe button. This is Rick Ginn, and I'll see you in the next video.